The Silver Fox, Kelly Remple, is here. For many, he's the favorite panelist we bring on here. Rems, let's walk it back 8 days to Randy Ambrosie dropping the bomb that the CFL and XFL have entered into talks for collaboration in the future. And then, quite frankly, walking away. He dropped the bomb. I'm out of here. You guys sort it out. Or have fun with it.
Yeah.
Which we have. What was your initial take?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was pretty shocked, actually. But when you think about it, it's not a total surprise because you got both leagues that are in trouble, right? So I guess if there's an opportunity or a way to have conversation, dialogue, communication, whatever, put some heads together and try to figure out a way how we can help each other, I guess you'd be crazy not to look at it. I think that, the Canadian Football League needs cash and they need marketing. The XFL needs cash and they need marketing.
Well, they need a strong brand and quality football.
Yeah, they do. I think the football there is better than a lot of people think.
Yeah, I've watched every game.
Yeah, I think those guys are pretty good players. The reality is, though, is it's pretty difficult. It's very difficult to get my head wrapped around the fact that every single time a competitor, they're not even competitors, let's not call them competitors, a second football league tries to start up after the NFL season, in our history, it never works. Ever. And they know that. Dwayne Johnson knows that. Rock. So I don't know what's going to come of it. I think it's a little more serious than a lot of people think, but that still doesn't mean that anything's actually going to happen out of it, Rod. But it's fun to talk about. And I have to laugh at what you just said. We're going to make this announcement. We're going to talk about it. Let's throw it out there. It's kind of like making the presentation to the House of Commons about okay, but every time you ask them a question about it, every single question, it's a deflect. Well, we don't know.
It didn't look good. It just didn't look good.
But I mean, you know what? But then there's another little voice in my head, Rod, that says that if Dave Naylor would have broken a story that would have been the Canadian Football League is talking with Dwayne Johnson and the XFL, and they would have been asking questions about, and they wouldn't have taken the initiative to bring it up. People would have crucified him because, well, what are you holding back from us? Why aren't you telling us these things? So he's kind of damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. If he doesn't say anything and people find out about it, they're going to say, well, why didn't you just from the beginning talk about it? But then when he does do that, but he really doesn't have anything to say, we make fun of him and laugh at him because he doesn't have anything, as usual, he doesn't have anything to say. So I don't know.
And I want to chime in. Well, one, pausing the discussion for a second. Viewer Trevor Lackness writes in. He says, Rod, I was disappointed how you said Bedard came back to earth in Game 2. He got 2 points and was still dominant. He's not going to have 20 great games. Trevor, I love you. I didn't say it. A scout said it. It wasn't Game 2. It was Game 3 against the Moose Jaw Warriors. He didn't have a good game. You watched it, didn't you? He was falling down all over the place. He came back down to earth, but the scouts said it. I agreed. You're disappointed in me? Get in line. There's a long list. Another thing, if the XFL takes over the CFL, Kelly, this is the one thing that you see it all the time. I think business of pro sports isn't a lot different at the CFL levels, major junior hockey levels. You know this for a fact. Team's going to be sold, and the old owner says to the new owners, okay, I'll sell you the team, but you need to keep this guy and you need to keep that guy. And the new owner goes, nope. I'm not going to say any more. It's happened with more than one team. You know what I'm saying? If the condition of the sale is you keep these people, and the new owner's like, no, it's my team. I'll do what I want. Mm-hmm. And I really think the CFL is really fighting giving anything away to the XFL in terms of equity because guys don't want to lose their jobs or their status or their role. Because if they allow The Rock in as an investor, he's not tiptoeing around. He's taken over the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it even goes deeper than that. You've got two games that are completely different games. And who's going to compromise on that? You know, all I keep hearing from Canadian Football League fans, right or wrong, is that, well, we don't want to give up our rules. We don't want to give up. And I'm not saying they should either. I'm just saying we don't want to give up 3-down football. We don't want to play on a smaller field. Okay, but then really what you're saying is that the XFL, the only way we want to play ball with them is if they play by our rules. But that's not how negotiations work. You have to give something up. Now, what is that? So for us to speculate as to what kinds of conversations that Dwayne Johnson and Randy Ambrosie might be having. We have no idea,
but it's fun. But it's fun.
It's great to talk about, and it's accomplished that. Like I tweeted something to the effect of, no matter what comes out of this, even if nothing comes out of it, there's been more water cooler and buzz discussion about the CFL that day than there had been the previous 365 combined. So that's never a bad thing. But it's kind of like telling your family, oh, hey, honey, kids, we're moving. Oh, geez, where are we moving, Dad? No idea. How do you...
I bet that actually happens.
So how do you expect anybody in your family to get excited about that? Are we moving to downtown inner city Winnipeg, or are we moving to Vancouver Island?
We don't know.
You know?
What do? Laugh or cry?
The family, kids, we're moving to Dilk.
Well, at least we know where we're going. It's small market, but
nothing wrong with Dilk.
Jeff the Stampeders fan, home of Amber Holland. Jeff the Stamps fan.
She's a Moose Jaw girl, Roddy.
Lumsden claims her, Dilk claims her, Moose Jaw claims her. Everybody wants a piece of her. Jeff the Stamps fan says, seems unlikely the XFL would want all 9 teams, i.e. assuming Toronto has a team, would they want one in Hamilton and or Ottawa? Why wouldn't they? They're established teams with stadiums, fan bases. Of course they would want the 9. Plus they'd want a 10th in Atlantic Canada. I'd like to see 10 teams in Canada, add the Schooners, the existing 8 in America, and 2 in Mexico. True Continental League. By the way, I want to read this, Kelly, from a viewer of ours in Seattle. A year ago, we told you that we had 1/3 of our viewers are American. It's now up to half. This guy's in Seattle. Rod, I am an American football fan. I became a Seattle Dragon season ticket holder for the XFL when XFL 2.0 began. Our crowds were always above 20,000 fans for our home games. I believe if it was not for COVID, the XFL would have been successful. I've been listening to some Canadian sports talk shows, and I'm confused by the attitude of the CFL fans. The CFL game attendance has been dropping every year, and owners are losing millions of dollars every year. But all I hear is don't change CFL rules, our field size, or anything else, because the CFL is important to us. If the CFL is so important, why are the fans not supporting? The 2019 Grey Cup had an average audience of 3.9 million viewers. The 2019 Super Bowl had 9.5 million Canadian viewers. That tells me the Canadian fans enjoy the American game more than the CFL game. History's important, but constantly saying the CFL rules and game are more precious than the NFL game is wrong, and that is according to Canadian community. He goes on to say more, but the key in there, he says, if the CFL is so important, why are the fans not supporting it? Not talking about the season ticket holders in every city. But as you know, Shad Ricky, he's probably watching right now in Brandon, Manitoba.
One of my favorite people in sports.
S.K. Riche said if you just add up the season ticket bases in the country, it's about 100,000 people, Canada-wide. Viewers, 600,000. And it's shrinking. That's what this guy's saying.
Well, let me tell you something that I think that I'm not going to surprise a single person, by the way. This is a Captain Obvious, but I experience it all the time. So I've coached in RMF, my son Spencer's football team, either as a head coach or an assistant for 7 years now. The players on those teams from the time he was in Mighty Mites football right up until now Bantam, they don't talk about CFL players. They don't talk about CFL teams. Never. They talk about Patrick Mahomes Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, they talk about their NFL groomed, okay?
Yep.
That's the problem, is it's not cool for kids to go to CFL games. Now, if it's like that in Regina, the mecca of CFL fandom, right? By far and away, the most NFL-like market in the country. I don't care who you are, you would have to be willing to concede that if there's one market in the whole Canadian Football League that's most like an NFL kind of euphoria type of market, it's Saskatchewan. But I'm here to tell you that the kids don't care about the CFL in this province. So if they don't care about it here, I damn sure guarantee you that in Montreal and Toronto and Vancouver, they don't even think about the CFL. And that is the problem.
It's scary. But you know what? They just don't want to acknowledge it. That's the key. They don't want to hear the truth. They want, we're great. CFL will last forever. It's great. They don't want to hear anything different.
You know, we could have a whole
tired of arguing about it.
We could have a whole discussion about this, and we don't have the time today. Maybe one day. Not that anybody really probably cares what my vision is, but I was thinking about this. You know the XFL and the CFL really need to climb into bed with? It's the NFL.
Yeah.
It's like
Goodell said, "Go pee up a rope."
Whatever. But that's not acknowledging that. If you had a situation where, and I don't, again, we could talk about this for 5 hours, but quickly to try to make my point. If you had a situation where you had, and I'm going to make this up, Rod, but you got 7 CFL teams and 7 XFL teams, and you were somehow able to find a way to, some way, shape, or form, merge the leagues. How many NFL teams is there? 32. How many teams would that be? 16. So for every one of those 16 teams between the CFL and the XFL, one AFC and one NFC team adopted that team as like theirs.
Yeah.
And you somehow had some sort of a
marketing.
Marketing, but also a cooperation about players and development. And you sent some of your players there to develop. You would have an opportunity there to, let me put it to you this way. Let's say in the city of Vancouver, you knew that the BC Lions were essentially a farm team of the Seattle Seahawks, or in Toronto of the Buffalo Bills. Now you might have a chance of getting some of those kids interested. But how that model would look like, I don't know. No,
I know. But the Canadian football guys say, and that is your number one sport, that we have the tweeners. The CFL's built on players that didn't fit the NFL mold. So don't send us your prospects, because we have got Cody Fajardo's here for a reason. The biggest star in the province. But just
didn't hurt Cameron Wake's career.
Right. Well, you can always name the rare few, right? I'm just giving you the argument that I get, because I've been saying that for a long time. That's just the backlash to that. From the viewers, from Donald Mitchell, he says there's more viewers for the Super Bowl because it's on free TV. The Grey Cup is on cable TV. Don, everybody has cable TV. There's not that many people sitting at a cabin watching a black and white TV with rabbit ears, okay? Everybody's got cable TV. That's my first thing to that. And 2, yeah, but. Jeff the Stamps fan says, I see many 20 to 30-somethings at Stampeders games. Don goes on to say, but Kelly, my time in Ottawa, the stadium was packed with young people. So what are you saying? There's no problem?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
There's no problem, I guess, and that's why the CFL's at the death's door begging people for money. Can you stay for one more segment, or you got to roll?
No, of course.
Okay, the Silver Fox has got him going today, which we knew that he would. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV Network, live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and 24-hour sports talk for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.